Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I hope that this finds you well and that the week has treated you kindly. As you can see, I'm wearing one of my many Kansas City Royals hats. Today is opening day for Major League Baseball. So I'm pretty excited about the Royals, pretty excited about baseball season. So if you're a baseball fan, maybe you also are excited, or if you're a peripheral fan, maybe we can all eventually get back to going to some games and have an afternoon where we hang out at the ballpark, drink some beers, and just enjoy ourselves. So today, as you can see, many of the videos that are listed are concerned with and are looking at the connection, not just from kind of identity as it relates to who it is we are, who it is we think we are, and who it is we've been, who it is we hope to be. But they're also asking those questions of like, how do we add alcohol in the mix here? Or what kind of questions can we ask as it relates to having alcohol in the mix, right? Like, am I fundamentally a different person when I consume alcohol? Am I fundamentally, someone maybe more authentic, less authentic? And if so, how do we measure that? How do we gauge that, okay? And so that's what those videos below are all investigating, is looking at personal identity as it relates to alcohol consumption, as it relates to alcohol use. And I mean, I think I bring up in one of the videos somewhere, that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but that phrase like, drunk words are sober thoughts, okay? So yeah, that's right. Drunk words are sober thoughts. And it asks a couple of questions here, right? Does alcohol just bring out something in us that's kind of hidden or is at least buried, right? And so is there an unlocking? Is there an accessing of ways of thinking and being that we normally don't experience as sober selves? And if so, could it be argued then that because of this, sometimes when we are inebriated to greater or lesser degrees, like, could it be argued that maybe that is a sign of maybe kind of closer authenticity, right? Like if we need something to kind of unlock us to be who it is we fully are, right? To behave in ways that maybe we otherwise wouldn't, were we not to have the substance that we consumed, then what does that mean about our overall sense of self, our overall identity? Okay? So those are some pretty heavy questions out of the gates, which the following videos are going to address. Now, what I want to talk about in this video in particular is actually coming from Handling the Hard Stuff. Okay? And it's the article that begins on page 55. Okay? And it is titled A Dynamic Model of the Will with an Application to Alcohol-Intoxicated Behavior. Now, if you've read this article, or if you've tried to read this article, it does get a bit dense. It gets a bit complex for sure. Okay? It's also a bit outdated. It cites studies back in the early 2000s, so I mean, it is a bit outdated. And it's primarily meant more so for psychology. Let me phrase that differently. It's more so rooted in psychology. It's more so rooted in kind of the philosophy of action of sorts, as opposed to strict personal identity and strict action as it relates to alcohol consumption. But I think that there are some things that we can tease out here. I think that there are some definitions that we can use and ways of engaging with our thoughts on the philosophy of alcohol and identity and alcohol use all in one. And so I'll pause here, and then the next video will actually dive into kind of the nuts and the bolts of this particular article.